American Majority.
Welcome to another 2020, number 5, video creation. I'm Travis Dennis. I'm an intern with American Majority. I'm the guy who created the intro and outro segments you've been seeing in each of these 2020 episodes, both the video and the audio. And if you ever want me to throw something together for you, whether that's editing a video, recording some background music, scoring your video, making a catchy jingle, just shoot me an email and I'll see if I can fit you in. My email is mixman4000@gmail.com. In this episode, we'll be talking about the entire process in a nutshell of how to create videos of various types. If you've been following American Majority for a while, then, and if you're watching these videos, then you are indeed aware that we are big proponents of using new media in your campaigning and your activism, whatever your cause or whatever your purpose is. Since you're watching this video, then you know and you've experienced how powerful of a tool video can be if utilized properly. And we're going to try and help you do that right now. So I'm going to walk you through a 5-step process for creating your first video. And you reutilize this process at any point in time for any type of video. It doesn't matter what type of video it is or what your purpose for it is or what your need is. This is just to help you plan and to help you organize your process of creation. We got 5 steps. First one is planning. Second is getting your raw material. 3 is editing. 4th step is your post work. And the last step is distribution. Let's start on planning. Number 1. First, you got to ask yourself a series of questions. You have many options open to you. You need to first decide, why do I want to use a video? What is the exact purpose? What is the stated purpose of this video? Write out your purpose. Write what your needs are for having this video or maybe a series of videos. And if you don't write them out, then you're not going to meet them. And also ask yourself, why do you want to use a video? Why use the medium of video instead of, say, podcasting or blogging? What issue do I want to deal with? Well, who are you? Are you a candidate? Do you want to campaign on your platform? Do you want to tell others about the different planks in your platform, what your stances on issues are? Are you campaigning on one issue or 2 issues? Are you an activist who's trying to get certain legislation passed or trying to raise awareness around a certain issue? What is your issue? What format is best? What type of video do you want? Are you doing an endorsement for yourself or for someone else? Or on the other side, are you doing an attack against someone? Are you doing a single issue video? Do you want it to be humorous? Or do you want it to be inspirational? Do you want it to be like a documentary type, historical type of video? Or maybe you want to do an expose type video where you even go undercover like James O'Keefe in those Acorn videos where he posed as a pimp to expose the corruption within some of the Acorn offices. Another question that is possibly the most important is, what attitude or what type of person do I want to reflect through the video? Unfortunately, in politics, we all know it's not always about what you say. How you say it and who you are will shine through in your interactions with the public. Your video can be very casual, similar to a podcast, what we call a vidcast, or it can be highly edited and very flashy, or just very well thought out and highly edited. It all depends on your creative skills or the person that you enlist to help you. Basically, just pick the project that's right for your skill level and that fits your needs best. All these questions are important, and there's others you can ask. Think out your process beforehand. Be very methodical, but don't let them bog you down. The important thing is that you just do it. Next, planning is you need to write a script for your video. I wrote a script for my video right here. I'm going to bring it up. You can see it right here. I'm just making out bullet points, not really any different than if you were making a PowerPoint presentation or other type of speech. It's up to you to decide your format, but the important thing is that you've thought out the entirety of the video. Maybe you're a visual thinker and your video is going to have a lot of visual effects and that it's very important, or you want it to have a certain look, you can storyboard that out. Really it's not, you can look up methods of other filmmakers could help you if you wanted to get really technical with it. Or like I say earlier, if this is getting a little bit to be too much for you, don't worry about it. Just do it. If you're not sure what kind of video you want or how you want to go about things, the best thing to do is to go online and do a little research, see what you can find to give you a little inspiration or give you some guidance. Find something you like, find something you don't like. Right now, we're going to look at the good and the ugly here. All right, first up, here's an example of a good video. It's very simple, nothing complex or flashy about it. And it's from an activist's point of view, or just I think this person deserves a good citizenship award in my book. What they've done is they've taken some C-SPAN footage from different finance hearings in Congress. All they've done is just put it out there for you to see what you otherwise would have missed unless you're a C-SPAN junkie. And this type of video is very simple. All it takes is a little awareness and a little digging on your part, and the know-how to grab some internet video and edit it yourself, which we will go over later.
Fannie Mae has manipulated, in my judgment, OFEO for years. And for OFEO to finally come out with a report, as strong as it is, tells me that's got to be the minimum, not the maximum.
Etc. You seem to be saying, well, these are in areas which could raise safety and soundness problems. I don't see anything in your report that raises safety and soundness problems.
Under the outstanding leadership of Mr. Frank Raines, everything in the 1992 Act has worked just fine. In fact, the GSEs have exceeded their housing goals. What we need to do today is to focus on the regulator, and this must be done in a manner so as not to impede their affordable housing mission. A mission that has seen innovation flourish from desktop underwriting to 100% loans.
I find this to be inconsistent and a rush to judgment. I get the feeling that the markets are not worried about the safety and soundness of Fannie Mae, as OFEO says that it is, but of course the markets are not political.
But I have seen nothing in here that suggests that the safety and soundness are at issue, and I think it serves us badly to raise safety and soundness as a kind of a general shibboleth when it does not seem to me to be an issue.
And that video goes on. It's 8 minutes long, but I just wanted to show you that one clip. And of course, very interesting about that is seeing Maxine Waters, even back then, considering how now that she's just been indicted on 3 counts of ethics charges. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, here is a laughable example of a campaign video. It is just totally embarrassing. This should be encouraging to you that you can have a big budget and mad cinematography skills and still come up with an embarrassing piece of crap. So budget isn't everything.
But now Carly Fiorina, who is the former chief of the world-leading tech company HP, she's topped herself. She's topped even California Dreamin' with a web attack ad on one of her opponents named Tom Campbell. Ladies and gentlemen, behold, the attack ad so bad, no one wanted to believe it was real.
Purity, piety, are fiscal conservative leaders, men we admire, aspire to be. Wholesome, honorable, true believers. Men like Tom Campbell, who would never lead us astray, his pedestal so high.
Leaving but one way to fall.
Look, if you ignore the fact that it looks like it was made by Monty Python at this point, you still have to admit that, I mean, there's no other way to fall besides down. Wait, it gets better. Go.
Tom Campbell, is he what he tells us? Or is he what he's become over the years? A FCINO, fiscal conservative in name only.
FCINO. The thing about the catchy acronyms is you have to be able to say them. What Carly Fiorina has unleashed here is a Facino? Facino? And what's with the guy in the homemade-looking sheep mask with the glowing red eyes? This is supposed to be spooky Tom Campbell. Oh, yeah. Or maybe another evil Facino. By the end of the day, the guy in the sheep mask had become a Twitter avatar for a hardcore Republican. And we haven't even gotten to the best part yet because the guy in the homemade sheep mask is... Watch this.
A wolf in sheep's clothing. A man who literally helped put the state of California on the path to bankruptcy and higher taxes. Fiscal conservative? Or just another same old tale of tax and spend, authored by a career politician who helped guide us into this fiscal mess in the first place? Might there be a better choice?
Run the furry! Run the furry! Countdown with Keith Olbermann starts right now. Wow.
There's also a hidden incentive revealed by this. If you make a crappy conservative video, watch out. Rachel Maddow is going to come out of the woodworks and just hound you. So watch out for that. Step number 2, get your raw material. This means what's going to be the video? What's going to go on screen? What are you going to put into it? Where are you going to get it? How are you going to make it? First, do your research. You want to be informed and useful, not a sensationalist. I'm going to repeat this. Do your research. You want to be as informed and useful as possible to your audience. You don't just want to be a sensationalist that recycles what everyone can already find on their own, or that just gets people hyped up, or that just kind of rants and raves, isn't very substantive. You can kind of check yourself as you're planning and say, what is the nature of my dialogue and my text? What in my script? Is it mostly emotional, or how factual is it? Again, this is where you ask yourself, what attitude and what type of person do I want to reflect in this video? All right, you got a couple options here for getting raw material. Your decision is going to depend on what you want in your video. So if you're going to shoot your own, some quick tips are you're going to want to get a decent camera. You're going to got to consider lighting and ambient noise. Consider who will be in the video. The other option is to collect other videos from other sources, which is probably going to be the internet. And there's different ways of doing this. You can find stock video websites and things like that, but for the most part, that's not really going to get you what you need. Most of the time, the video you're going to want from the internet is going to be news footage, and this is a fantastic way of shining light on an issue and giving maybe an air of authority to what you're talking about. And most of the time, the place you're going to find this news footage is on YouTube. I'd say 95% of the time, that's going to be the case. Luckily, and you may or may not have known this, there are programs out there that allow you to download or grab, quote unquote, just as a disclaimer on my part and on yours, read the fine print. YouTube videos are the sole property of the uploaders. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not going to go into that. It just kind of depends on the material. I'd say half the time anyway, the poster of the video on YouTube didn't have the legal right to it anyway, especially if it's news clips. But that's your discretion. Anyway, there's multiple programs out there that are YouTube grabbers. One that is fairly popular is called Video Get. That's the program, and the website that it's off is nuclearcoffee.com. You can Google those. Another popular one is TubeTilla, and its host website is bestYouTubeGrabber, with dashes between those words, .com. Now, there's other programs out there. Just do a little research and decide what you want to use. Most of them aren't going to be free. I tried a free one once. It just didn't work. But they're going to be very inexpensive, say $25 probably on average. And a lot of them come with free trials. So if you just want to try it this one time to make one video, you can do that for free. Now, wherever you're getting your video from, whether it's the internet, YouTube, or you're shooting your own, this is where I enter into my gigantic warning about. This is a frustrating topic for any of us who've edited video. It is the topic of video codecs. What this means is that there are different types of video files. For instance, of audio files, you have MP3s and you have waves, you have ACC files, M4As. They're all different types of audio, but they're just different methods that are used to encode the song in computer code. The same is true of video, except unfortunately in the video world, for various commercial reasons, there's just a whole plethora of video codecs. There's just seemingly an endless ocean of them. Some are more popular and well-known than others, and each one has their uses. We won't go into too much detail about codecs right now. Whatever codec your home camera uses or your video editing software uses, they're going to be fairly standard ones. It's just going to be something you're going to have to be mindful of. Most likely you won't hit a big snag in video codecs, but it's from here on out, it's something you're going to have to be aware of as you're doing the editing and file process. And finally, as far as raw material goes, you're going to ask yourself, what kind of music and what kind of sound do I want in the video? Do I want music backing during this section? If there's just flat silence, the video might be kind of boring depending on the format of it. So you got to think about not only music in the background, but audio in general. Is there dialogue in my video? What am I using to record audio? Am I just using the little camera microphone, which is probably a piece of crap? These are all questions that you got to ask. If the camera microphone is all that's available to you, then just do your best with that. Make sure that what you're saying is clearly audible, and be aware of your ambient environment. Otherwise, you'll want to look into other attachments, other recording devices, maybe other people or friends that you have that have experience in that area. If you're looking for music or soundtrack to go behind your video, then of course you want to be conscious of copyright issues. YouTube's really good right now about catching and pulling down videos that use copyrighted music. There are websites online you can search through for royalty-free music, meaning that you just pay the fee for the file and then you can use it however you want, all different styles and sound effects and stuff. Just do a little research on your own on Google. And again, here I'd like to say something for past and future. There's no way I'm going to be able to cover everything you could need to know, but basically the way you can find out about anything more in detail and find the programs and find anything that you need, and it's the same way I find out most everything I need, is Google. If you can learn how to find what you need on Google, sort through what's important information and what's not important, and know how to find the best type of information, then that skill will get you just about everywhere else. Third step, editing. Okay, now you've collected all your material, you got all the shots you need, you got your script, you know how it's going to go together, maybe vaguely, maybe not exactly. Now comes the third step of editing. All right, so if you shot video on a camera, you've uploaded it to your computer, you've encoded it into files, you've got them all in one convenient place. First thing we've got to do is decide which program we want to use to edit our video. You've got multiple choices out there. Most operating systems, most computers come with a basic consumer line video editing program. With Apple, if you've got iLife, then that is iMovie. Or with Windows, that's going to be Windows Video Editor. And I used to say that these are great programs. These are the excellent programs that you're going to want to use. They're very simple and designed for beginners. However, if you have Windows 7 or you have the newest version of iLife since 2008, then you will discover that those bundled video editing programs have actually been significantly dumbed down. They've gotten rid of really standard video editing features like timeline and linear video editing, and just really dumbed it down to the point where you really can't do anything other than just sequence together your home videos. You can do something in it, but it's going to be a pain and really difficult to do anything that's more than just very basic level editing. Anything that's complicated or tricky, you're just not going to get very far in it. So you're going to want to do a little research, find out what programs you can use. There are some free ones out there. They're not going to be great, but you can try them. What I'm using here on my screen is Final Cut Express. This is what they want you to buy when they dumb down their video editing software. It's actually just the inexpensive version of Apple's professional video editing software. So if you choose to use this, it's extremely powerful. It has all the tools that you can need to make feature-length film, in fact, just about. And it's going to be a little complicated at first. I'm new to this program. I haven't gotten my head around it. It works basically the same way as every standard video editing software program. So, I can find my way around it fairly quickly. And a few things to consider before you get started is that video editing, the process of this is very taxing on your computer system. So if you don't have adequate power on your computer, or you don't have a very good video card, and you're doing video, and it won't be a problem if you're doing short stuff, but as your videos get lengthier and as the files you're using get larger and the codecs more complex, it's going to take more power it's going to take more processing power, and you might experience some glitches and difficulties. And it also has to do with the program you're using. If it's not a very well designed program, then no amount of computer power will make up for its weakness, and it'll just crash on you. I've had horror stories. Honestly, some of the most frustrating moments in my life, video editing ranks up there. So it helps to have some experience, or it helps to know where to look for tips, or it helps to have a friend who knows what they're doing. But like I said, don't let any of this scare you. Don't let it stop you. Just go do it. And if you come to a wall, you'll find a way around it. All right, so we've got all our raw materials together. We got our script. The next step is first we need to decide what is the dominant element, or what is the main thread of the video. I'm going to say it again. What is the dominant element in the video, or what is the main thread of the script? And that means, so say you're doing an endorsement video. The main element, the dominant element, is probably going to be the narrator's voice and what the narrator's saying. It's really just whatever's most important or whatever you have the least flexibility in changing. Let's say that one more time. The dominant element is whatever is the most important or whatever you have the least flexibility in changing. Something you can't go back and edit, something you can't do over, or something that needs to take center stage, center focus. And what that means is you're going to put that you're going to lay that down first and then arrange the other elements around that. And now I'm going to demonstrate some just basic techniques of video editing that are going to be true across just about any program you find.